Tick, tock.
Well,
I wonder what people think every time I'm on a live stream, because I put on a call and they're just blasting. That's
hold on. Hey, everybody, with Central Mafia family, Sean Lardo here with my good friend Juan Mack. This is our first ever live stream in regards to doing partner spotlighting, where we bring our partners in our user group and other partners from around the world actually to start speaking and giving some relative information that's helpful, whether it be personal or professional. For those of you that didn't have a chance to see, we launched our first newsletter last month, and these are the people that actually, person we have on today, wrote one of the articles about this stuff. The goal for us is to be able to share, as I mentioned, good tips and tricks for partners from partners, whether it's within technology or industry tips, or if it's, again, personal stuff of how they cope, work-life balance, or whatever it may be. So now, hi Juan, how you doing, buddy?
Good. You said it all.
You don't want to repeat it?
I will not repeat it. That was very good.
You're wow. This can only go downhill from here. It's like we peaked. It's over. All right, perfect. So how we'll go with, first off, how is the weather in Indiana, man? Because this sucks.
It's still cold.
It's ridiculous.
I'm wearing a t-shirt here because I keep it at 78 in my office, so I can no,
it's not happening.
That's
a nice t-shirt. That's a nice t-shirt. If anybody watching this, if you guys would like to see our shirts, and if anybody wants to become part of the user group, we should probably talk about this.
I was prepared for today. I want to wear my Central Mafia shirt. Yeah.
Maybe you should give the people watching some information on how they get involved.
So we have several ways to get involved. One of them is very easy. Just follow us on LinkedIn. All of our webinars or for live streams, open mics, these sessions are posted in there, so you can stay up to date. So just follow us, and that's one way. The other one is via our Slack channel. So that's a good way to stay also up to date and interact. And you just talk about the newsletter. So access to some of those articles from the newsletter are also posted in there. So if by any chance you don't get the newsletter, you can stay still up to date on those.
Absolutely. Also, for those of you wondering, we do have physical meetups twice a year. We've been meeting outside of Chicago, but we're not opposed to relocating time and time again, which we'll talk about in the future. However, stay tuned for our next one meetup. We'll be hopefully putting that information out very soon.
Yeah,
right. So, and if you look across the bottom, you can see the link for the YouTube channel. By all means, please subscribe. If there's anything you guys would like to see, learn, or hear about, just message us and let us know through the various channels. Now, on to our guest of the day. It's rough. How about you introduce him, because I don't know what to say about him at this point that will be good on live TV.
To say something good about Trever. So today we have Trever. He is not only a partner, but he's also on our advisory council. So we all work together to try to bring you good content, the creation of the newsletter. And he wrote one of our articles on all the technology updates. So so we're going to be talking about like how important it is to keep up with all the technology trends, all the different changes. How do you and how what he does?
Do you want me to help you with this?
No,
his article
what he does at Ignatech. What he does as Ignatech. So he's also an MSP. Oh, you want to talk about Trever? Yeah. So
Trever, you're doing well. Go ahead.
Owner at Ignatech. So he also brings all the as the business owner perspective as an MSP.
Yes, and his article he put out in the last newsletter was about AI and customer service. It was about rise of zero trust security, cloud computing evolution, predictive analytics and supply chains, quantum computing's future.
Quantum computing.
Yeah,
I think I have all the questions that I have are around that, just like quantum computing.
Well, as soon as I hear that, I think of Ziggy, and I think of the show I loved back in the day with Quantum Leap. So
he'll get runny nose.
Exactly. So with that being said, let's bring Trever on, please.
That was a very unfair introduction, by the
way. Did you see his face too?
I'm just so lucky that I'm the first one ever. I don't know if because of a partner or why this is, but boy, do I feel lucky.
You are.
Which one of the shirts is the official shirt of the Mafia?
Juan Mack's, obviously. It's
gotcha.
It's not the Bush Light one. Although
we could do both.
We could do both.
Yeah.
Well, Bush Lights happen at the Central Mafia meetings. They happen at the Central Mafia meeting, so they are appropriate.
Yeah. And by the way, we're looking for sponsors. Bush Light, if you're listening. So,
yep, I'm guaranteeing they're watching this live stream.
I'm sure.
This is for that. Yeah. This is for them.
We will tag them on the when we post it.
Absolutely. So,
and
Trever,
then they will immediately block us.
I don't know.
Talk to HR.
So let's get into it. Let's give a little more background on you, Trever. Where are you from?
Janesville, Wisconsin, southern part of Wisconsin. It's cold. Got about 5 inches of snow today.
Whew.
Yeah. But in fairness, that's our only snow so far this year, so not bad.
Oh, we got hit over and over until just a few days ago.
That's why you haven't left your attic?
Yeah, it's been rough. It's been bad. It's not good. It's cold. There's too much snow. I'm okay with that. So anyway, so tell us, you're located out of Wisconsin. How long, and you are the founder of your company?
Yeah, so we were part of another company out of Red Wing, Minnesota, and we broke away about 8 years ago. I started this branch here in Wisconsin, and then renamed when we broke away from the other company.
Okay, how long ago was that, you said?
This is our 8th year. Started off with me and my first employee. So I had one employee when we broke away, and we just hired our 12th employee. So we've had quite a bit of growth, which has been fun and challenging. I think my roles have changed a lot from out and about in the field to trying to steer the ship from hitting icebergs now. And that's been a learning curve for me and challenging to figure out different roles or what I'm doing.
Trever, is that 8 years as an MSP or has it been longer?
No, 8 years as an MSP.
Okay.
Yep.
So were you an MSP before this? You yourself worked as an MSP or worked for one?
Yes, for the other company that I broke away from. Correct.
And how long is that total?
That was just another 3 years that I was with them.
So you've been in the space for approximately 11 years yourself.
In the MSP space, I was.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I was at a hospital in the IT department before then for 5-6 years.
Okay, so IT, and just moved over to running your own business as IT, which is very common. It's very, very common.
It is.
For MSPs,
There's other crazy people out there.
Well, yeah, they're like, we can do it better, faster, and make more money. Usually, is what they say, and they're already outsourcing while
I have way more fun.
Yes, correct. So, do you have a specialization you guys go after, or you focus on a specific industry or anything?
No, actually, that's a good question. We actually don't. We have everything from small nonprofits to full municipalities, government, police departments to manufacturing industries. We have a few clients that are don't have a home office, so they're all over the country, and we ship the laptops out and image them and things like that. So honestly, we don't. It's kind of I don't want to say cookie cutter approach to the network, but the network part of it's the network and how we secure it and how we manage the network is one thing. What you build inside that network is kind of their thing, right? So we've been able to align ourselves with all different facets or industries, I would say. So we don't have, one certain venue like medical or anything like that.
Sure. Okay.
Which is part of the fun, I think, about being an MSP, because you're not pigeonholed. You haven't pigeonholed yourself. Forces the guys to get outside their box a lot and figure out, lots of different solutions. One of the core values is, find a solution and provide value for the customer, because we're constantly doing that all the time with different technologies and things like that, versus being internal on a network and seeing certain things over and over and over again.
So you sound like you're pretty agile as a business.
Me personally, okay. The business, yeah.
Which
That's like, yeah.
I'm about to say is like, okay, which leads us into why we brought you in today. Start, staying agile and making sure, that everybody stays up to date with everything that is happening, because it starts. I bet it starts with you and then replicate into your team, and same thing, your team sharing all that information with you, and it's like, it's key. And with different organizations, and even with us, internally, we're always, sharing all that, all those new trends that are out there.
Yeah, because when we're learning a partnership or learning a new customer, it's not always feasible to go in there and yank out everything in our space with the SMBs, to go in and yank everything out. So, we're constantly learning new technologies as we grow that partnership, and then, fill in the holes with the best practices, as we get to learn that customer and that network and that type of stuff.
How do you get yourself prepared for that, though? Because if you're not standardized on anything, how do you perfect it, right?
So sorry, we are standardizing it, but sometimes, on that initial takeover, that takes a little bit of time. So you're going in there with other devices, things like that. But no, yes, we're definitely standardizing everything.
Okay, so you're going in and you're working with what they have while you transition.
Correct. Yeah, I think it's important to standardize in order to provide, better service, versus trying to manage all different types of technologies without, single pane of glass or things like that. That would be very difficult to do.
Gotcha. Okay. So going back to this, then, when you go into this, how long? And because I read a lot of stuff with a lot of MSPs, and I see there's always questions on how to approach this business, right? And how to implement and how to onboard and everything else. So do you have a set cutoff date of things that are going to take place when you walk in? You're like, hey, we're working with you now. This is what's going to happen. A, B, C, D, and E. You'll be migrated by this date.
I mean, you try to. You obviously try to, but outliers, and you go in there and a lot of times you're unwinding things that have been there for years and years and years, and that kind of doesn't work sometimes. So yeah, you have a goal in mind, but you don't necessarily always hit that, I would say. But yeah,
right.
Yeah, at the point, I think that's when you became that trusted advisor, right? That partner with your client.
So you just hit it, Juan, is
that journey.
Yeah, that's part of, one of the things that I wrote the article on was AI. Do I necessarily believe in it or not? Because I think it's more about partner relationship building versus the AI and slamming things in. So you're building that trust and that relationship with that partner, and then your standardization is easier to implement.
Sure. Well, I'll be the devil's advocate on that too, right? Because if I look at this and I think about AI, if used properly, I don't think you're trying to replace the relationship, but you are trying. I would imagine you want to use AI to be able to mediate some of the redundancy of responses,
Yes.
Stuff like that. Like the first thing that comes to my head is my password is changed. I can't figure out. There's a response that says, go to forgot password. That's a simple one, right? And you don't need your tech people being on this to take up time to answer that ticket, as far as I can think, unless otherwise proven wrong, which I don't know. But that would be a simple example.
No, absolutely. So that's that fine line you're talking about with replacing relationships versus efficiencies internally.
Right.
So AI replacing efficiencies internally is going to be a great tool that you have to navigate and figure out what can it do, what efficiencies can it make internally that the partner doesn't necessarily see or care, because that's on the backside of things, freeing up your customer or your engineers and things to actually be more personal in partnership with them. So use it for that advantage.
Yeah,
is
sure.
Free yourself out to then have more time to create those relationships. And that's where the key is, walking that fine line between too much and how do we use it.
So more like enhance. You're saying like you're using to enhance that partnership.
Yeah,
Find,
I think
faster
so.
response, more accurate. So
Yeah.
you're enhancing that trust that you have with your clients, and then giving the power also to your technical team.
Yeah, because I think somewhere in the article, I wrote, the companies that are going to succeed the most, they're not replacing people; they're learning how to work with it. With AI, those are the people that are going to take off exponentially, because they're creating efficiencies, removing the mundane and allowing yourself to shake more hands.
So that's a good question, because you just mentioned that you just hired somebody. You're growing. As you grow and bring in more of your technical resources, is AI part of that conversation, as far as like using AI and being able to bring it in to make themselves better? Because we have, just think about a lot of companies, and looking for like automation engineers, or some roles are specific to AI. And how does that fit into when you're bringing in new talent?
So, we're still a fairly small MSP, so we're trying to navigate what that means, even for us. Almost like cybersecurity. I mean, this is still the wild, wild west of. It's still the wild, wild west of who's using it, how are they using it, and that's why these conversations right here, and more people in these groups. Plug for Central Mafia. Send my check later, Sean. But more people in these groups, so that we can become stronger and decide what does that mean for us, because I don't know that a lot of people know they're dabbling in it, testing it, finding out it's not working, it is working, but who's using it well? And that's when I go back to the people that are going to emerge and expand exponentially, are the people that figure out how to use it well and in the right spots, right? So full circle back to your question, Juan, is no, I'm not hiring on AI or what their talent is, or more about who wants to learn about it, who wants to dive into this, who wants to, like I said earlier, my role has changed. So who's going to bring me the idea or the efficiency and say, yeah, that'll work. We can do that. It's in no time replacing any of the front desk people or the people that are answering the phones or the face-to-face, conversations and things that we have.
So are we talking, hey, you're looking to hire an AI architect essentially?
Mm-mm.
Or
I think that's what Juan kind of asked was, is that conversation that you're hiring people that are AI architects, and I don't have that answer. I'm not personally.
Well, I think there's one architect. I'm only thinking about this because if you're going to replace, and you're not replacing the employee, if anything, you're giving the ability to do other things. You're making them more scalable, because if you spend all day answering redundant, stupid questions, like did you unplug and turn off your laptop and turn it back on stuff, right? Those are redundant, simple questions that always comes up first. So you take away those things, and I don't know if anybody's ever estimated the percentage. I would love if one of you guys would one day. Yeah. Not you, Juan, because you would tell me some. I would say percentage, and you would give me hours, and I know that, so forget that. But I would be curious to know on an MSP what the percentage of time spent on those things alone, right? And if you remove those, right? Let's just say it's 25% for the hell of it, right? So if you remove 25% of the workload, that gives 25% time back to the men and women that work for you to do the more skill set stuff then, right? Not the admin stuff. So with that, the only way you can make that happen though is if somebody actually architects the AI to make sure that the responses make sense, that because it's pulling from your data, right? So if you have garbage data, you have garbage AI. Fact. So responses have to be programmed.
Correct.
Right. and also given like an SLA of when the response should take place. So you're creating the workflow and the engagement stuff behind it, right? So with all that said, you take away that work. Are you hiring somebody to actually put that work together though first?
Right. And once again, that's where companies have to decide.
Mhm.
I'm not personally, to answer your question, I'm
Right.
not personally, because I'm not that far into it yet. But, somebody in the Central Mafia family might be,
Right.
and can show, or, touch, feel, and show how are they doing it, kind of thing, right? Because
Yep.
I agree with you. Currently we just have people that are interested in it and saying, okay, hey boss, this is how we can use this. This is how we can use
Right.
this.
Yeah.
That's the level that we're touching and feeling it. Larger
Makes sense.
companies are going to need more of that, which than an AI architect. But what does that even mean? Who is that, and what certifies them to be an AI architect?
Yeah, and I don't
Right.
necessarily meant like hiring an AI architect, because I mean, you hire one and it's like, how are you going to keep that person occupied, right?
Yeah.
Then we can just start building something. How, at what level and what size and also depends on the size of the organization. But I think that maybe just having that knowledge on different products, so just had that mindset of automation and
Yes.
AI. It's like, okay, how can I use the knowledge that I have?
So one thing that I've challenged, so that's a good question, is, okay, where are our redundant pain points? Where are
Mhm.
redundant pain points? And then somebody bring me a solution, because we're all on the equal playing field with the AI right now. Somebody bring me a solution with a redundant pain point, and then does it create 25% of our free time, and then does it also then not take away from the customer experience and allow us to have more customer experience? So that's where's your pain points, and then where can AI help you with that pain point, is I think where you start with that.
Fair. That's fair. And then, then I also, to your point, Juan, even how do you keep them busy afterwards? I feel like it's a front-loaded job, right? Then they're done. So you hire them on, they do their job. So it's more of a consulting gig at that point, right? Because I mean, unless you're a large company and you're going through department to department to department to do things, but for MSP, that's not the norm. So we won't go that route. But you also will be changing the people you hire for your tech support too.
Right.
Because now you're getting more into, back to your relationship conversation. There's a big difference sometimes, and I know because my friend of mine is an MSP, which I will not name, owns his MSP, and a few years back, all of his techs were the most non-friendly people ever. They were grumpy about everything.
Right.
Now, when I call the car dealership, or when I call from services, they're the greatest people ever. They're the nicest people. That's what you want, right? So when AI replaces someone, sometimes you keep people for the sake of they know the answers, where the things are.
Sure do.
At that point, it makes people expendable at that point, right?
Right.
So then people have to step up. So you're going to either look to develop them into a better role to do better for you as a company and work on their personality, their attitude, or you're going to start hiring more skill set people that are better building relationships, more customer service oriented, not tech support.
With the customer service, we could kind of change gear, or flow here, and say, okay, now looking at it from the end user or the partner aspect, how much AI communication do they want versus human interaction and people? So based on what you just said, Sean, is it okay for automation to update, or AI to update you every step of the way on a ticket or on a business critical issue, versus a person calling you saying, hey Joe, I know you're down. I got all my guys on it. We are working on this, versus AI, and Joe's on the other end saying, this isn't what I signed up for. I don't want this. So you're walking that tightrope there too of, hey, I just created some efficiencies, and look at us go with our communication, but is it the wrong communication for that particular customer? What do you do there?
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's really fair. I think that means you just change your process and the way in which you work with your clients.
Mhm.
Back to, like you said, the redundancy is gone. So it's almost like when we all use AI note takers now in meetings, right? Now if I go back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was doing sales, I'm looking down at my paper and pad, writing notes the whole time, right? So instead of looking at you, I'm constantly looking down, take the note what you said, looking down, take note, right? So now we no longer have to do that. So now we're engaged in the conversation. The process has changed. So this should change that as well, I feel like, if done right.
If done right.
And I was gonna say, I think that's where we're at right now when we start bringing all these tools, and we have a lot of people maybe have this mentality. It's like, oh, we're going to automate 100%, or we're going to just replace what we're doing. And I think it's more like a step approach, like we're in keeping the client mindset, right? So how we're going to improve that, and the client. I mean, so how many times do you get on the phone and get that automated response? And you just keep saying like, representative. You want to have that human connection, but on the end, it's always there's something that is helping the.
I would agree with that. As you both know, I told you I just closed on a new house today, right? So bought another house, going to be moving. So I've literally spent umpteen hours calling utility companies and Verizon and everything else. So literally, I've gone through this all just now. I will tell you, one of the utility companies that's really smart about it, and so is Verizon, where when you're going through the prompts, they say we'll text you the link, and the link will take you right to the app, which will have all your information, and you can do everything right from there. I think that's genius, right? Because at least. And it still gave me the option to wait and talk to an agent if I wanted to, but that's nice because it's adhering to both types of people. So, and also based off your time, if you're going to go to work or you're about to walk into a meeting, you'd rather be, oh, good, send me the link. Good, I got the app. Oh, here's my stuff. Let me go through it. But if you're kind of confused with what to do and you want to talk to somebody, you have that ability. So I think as long as you give the proper upfront information for options, you'll be able to handle people's business and you'll be able to mitigate somewhat of the problem, right? Or, be able to mitigate some of the problems that are happening, and make them happy still with limited interaction.
Hopefully this isn't recorded because Sean, that was a brilliant answer because
it's live and recorded and it goes on our YouTube channel for posterity's sake. So it'll always be.
Verizon, I will never say that again.
And Verizon and Simon, make sure when you clip this, you clip exactly that. Thank you. Moving on.
No, but you just touched on a couple of very, very, very key points as in the MSP space is you're dealing with a lot of different personalities and end users, technical skills, right? So that balance between what does each one of those customers need, and you just touched on one of the companies did it well, right? There are certain end users that want to blow by everything and get to working and know how to use apps and know how to do all that stuff. There's another, subset of customers that have had the business for 40 years and they still wish they could go back to paper and they want to talk and shake hands. And you got to be able to say, okay, AI, which guy are you going, which channel are you sending that guy through? If you keep telling him, hey, fill out this app and he's don't even have a smartphone, well, he's going to be pretty upset with your company at the end of the day, right?
Correct. Yes.
So
yes.
That was a great answer as far as like, once again, companies that learn to work with AI are going to be the ones that accelerate by far.
Yeah, no. For me, it was Verizon and the electric company here. Both did the same thing. It came to the original prompts. Are you a current customer? Blah, 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 right? Those few things, which is fine. I'm okay with answering. Hey, is this in reference to, please list the number of your home that this is in reference to. But that way, at least they're immediately, triage and they're vetting you out for where you belong, right? Which I'm cool with that part. That takes all of 45 seconds. I think everybody here is accepting of that piece. It's just what happens next is usually the problem when it's just an endless prompt, because the gas company does not have that option, by the way. And it was horrific. I couldn't figure out where to go. And then when I hit the wrong button, was what I thought the right one, which wasn't the right one, it took me back to the main menu again. And I had to go, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my shit. So, yeah.
So eventually tech savvy people are going to lose their shit though. if they're not getting to the right prompts. And AI doesn't know that, keeps saying, push two, and you're still a tech savvy person. So you're never going to lose when you talk AI. You're never going to lose that human interaction. Shouldn't lose that human interaction.
And you're saying like the tech savvy are going to lose their shit. What happens to you have because you have those different generations of clients? Right?
My mother. Oh my Lord.
I mean, good news is you're probably going to sell more computers when they start smashing them and stuff like that. So you'll sell more computers to your customers.
True story here. Just last week, I was trying out my mother with her banking, and I was like, "Why don't we just go to the online banking?" My mother has a flip phone that doesn't have text message abilities. Okay, like legitimate. Which, by the way, it took me 4 years to get her to get a cell phone instead of
keeping the cord connected to it, or what?
Oh no, that was a few years ago. That was the wall kitchen phone that she was
the little spiral
that she was leasing for 15 years. She leased that phone on the kitchen wall for 15 years. Yeah, again, different time.
Made some money on her.
Oh my, you're like I think she paid like $3,000 for that wall phone. That's amazing. Best wall phone ever. Anyway, got her to a flip phone. We're gonna do online banking. I'm like, let me help you. So I go through the whole thing. With KeyBank. I'm like, well, I'm on my phone. I'm just filling out the stuff for her. I'm like, okay. And it's like, we're gonna send an authorization text message. Not gonna happen. And my mother's like, well, what do we do next? I'm like, oh, it has a call. I'll hit the call one. No, there's no call. There was no call. And then she's like, I don't want to bank online. I'm like, you're not banking online. It's just a way for you to check your account, to see what's going on. Make sure you're good. Just in the event of anything you need to know. Well, I'll be in my bank. I'm like, you're not going to be in your bank. You're going to be looking at a screen that tells you what your account is, and she didn't get. But imagine had she gone through the prompts, not knowing what to click on.
Yeah.
We eventually just scrapped the whole idea because she was never going to get to text.
So on the
another. Go ahead.
No, I was going to go back to our conversation on automating. On the flip side, because you have all your techs, and yourself that want to improve efficiency and looking at all these, different solutions. Just give your opinion on it. Do you have anybody, or have you experienced anybody that will push back? Have you experienced any pushback from any of your team members saying, "Nope, I don't want to do that because I'm essential for that role"? And if something gets implemented, then puts their job at risk. Because I've seen that. I've seen that.
Whether they're telling the truth or not, whether they're saying or not, I have a lot of, there's plenty of engineers that I have here that are 100% against AI, just in fear of AI and the doomsday people that say it's going to take over the world, right?
Terminator.
Right, exactly.
Skynet's coming.
I don't know, unless they're just not telling the underlying position that they're afraid it's going to take people's jobs. But once again, I don't know in the MSP space when you're their service provider, it's never going to take the people's spot, in my opinion, and that's how we've had a lot of our growth is being. Is that growth scalable? I don't know, but I do believe that there's values in inefficiencies, meaning that people contact still, and you gotta balance it and figure out where can I behind the scenes make this work for us. Switching gears a little bit, how can you make it work behind the scenes a little bit? And one thing MSPs are skeptical of, and I think that this group is trying to find its way through, is, what do software vendors or new product people, the first thing they say is, oh, we got AI built into this, right? Well, that's great. Show me what that means. And I think, Sean, you've touched on this many times in our partner meetings, is nobody wants to be sold. Show me what it does. Show me what it does. Don't tell me the latest buzzword that it has AI built into it. I want to see a real life action where it saves me that 25% billable time to give back to my guys, right? And I think that's a giant topic too, of weeding through the aka the we got AI built in. Okay, show me that then. Show me how that's going to give me 25% of my guys' time back to be more efficient.
Right. That's
Yeah,
fair.
I love that. Yeah, and I think a lot of times when that conversation comes into play, when we think about AI, people are thinking just that natural language, right? It's like as soon as they say they're going to bring it, I was like, oh, I'm going to be able to ask anything, and it's going to give me all the different answers, and and I think it almost like it set the expectation, because I just had a demo a few days ago, and they were showing me all that, and I was like, oh, so I can, and they were showing me questions that you can prompt. It's like, oh, so I can just ask it. I prompted, ask for a different question. It's like, well, we don't have that built in yet. So to your point is, challenge all those different vendors are putting that AI in ask. So it's like, what are you really doing, and what am I going to get out of that? How are you actually implementing it, and how are you using it?
And can we then take us to a different part of the article you wrote? Even you started talking about the rise of zero trust security. So with zero trust security, what even made you write about that even? Because if we stay on AI the whole time only, we're going to be staying on AI for the next 3 years. So we got to talk about this. I know, exactly. So
I think it's more fun.
You think it's fun?
Yeah. But
doom and gloom, zero trust, doom and gloom isn't fun?
This is your show. I'm just here.
No, it's our show. We're a family, Trevor.
Even Juan.
Juan, please.
I just got told to be here. Okay, but hold on real quick. Last thing on AI is so I think I wrote 3 articles I wrote 4. One of them was done by AI. Which one was that? You could pull the audience.
No.
We'll pull the
Anyways, moving on. We can talk about zero trust. We can talk about zero trust. Cool product.
Just for a minute. How about that?
What?
We'll talk about it just for a minute. I mean, because you obviously don't want to talk about it so much.
I do.
You do or you don't want to?
I want to.
Didn't you just say you really didn't want to?
He changed his mind. That's all right. We'll talk about it. Let's talk about it.
All right,
we have it right there.
Juan, please start with it now.
How could you not want to join this group?
It is interesting. It was as we were talking about AI. Now we talk about a different term, but when it comes to zero trust, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's another one that's probably in a lot of solutions when it comes to security has been used, and it hasn't clearly been defined on what you mean by zero trust.
Right. I would agree with that, but that's kind of where I thought we could actually parlay the segue the conversation from AI into this too, because one thing about zero trust when I think of zero trust, I think of like the fact that there's zero trust on any device or any person and user or anything, right? That's what this means essentially, right? Mm-hmm. So with AI is now another tool which has zero trust as well. And to maintain the integrity, because it's going to be communicating back to bad data, good data, somebody's managing that, making sure it's good. You run the risk of, if you don't set up properly, the integrity of everything is gone.
Right. So great point is, what holes that we, going back to AI, see how we did this? What holes did we open up with vulnerabilities and security with AI Wild West running on its own? So a company says, hey, this is great. We're going to implement AI in this part of the solution X, right? But what the hell did you open up? And what is AI running rampant with? Opening a hole. So now does that combine? Does that where zero trust comes in, or more securities and more more locking down happens? And that's why. I mean, I think zero trust is a great tool.
And I think that's why you bring that back up. Right? So you're going to deny everything by default, and then start allowing the things that you want your people to allow to be able to do. And it's also, it comes with all these different layers, right? Because not only within the workstation or your server, like what is allowed to run and where you're going to block, but then you have your networking layer, right? So which traffic are you going to then allow to pass through, and how you gonna build it?
Right. So how are you going to build it? So now can you limit what AI does versus letting it go unchecked, right? which is a great idea with the zero trust software.
Yeah. And I just read with I believe it's Cisco with a new with a new APs and the new Wi-Fi solution built in with AI for zero trust. So as your devices connect,
yes,
it can intelligently make a decision if it's going to now allow that device to connect and what it can access. There's multiple tools in there for zero trust that you can configure and have it ready, right? But now you have that automated layer on top of it that's going to learn of your environment and automatically make those decisions or suggestions for you. So
one of the keys to zero trust, and it can backfire you massively if you don't implement it properly with that learning period, to learn a healthy network first before you lock it down. So we've had situations where lack of a better term, a lazy engineer says, yeah, we're implementing this on your network, and then we lock it down. Well, didn't have a chance to learn everything, and now that tool becomes inefficient, and the customer's barking at you saying, hey, this isn't a good tool. I gotta whitelist everything all the time, right? Well, as long as that proper learning period is done, then I think that tool is almost invaluable of not trust anything. I mean, because that's the way bad things happen.
Sure. Okay. So this takes us to a whole separate conversation. We should have at one time, someday down in the near future. Tools don't replace people, but people also need help because end users are typically the first reason why issues occur.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what's more important, the tool or the training of a person to make sure they're good? Because the tool is meaningless.
Combination.
Sure.
Both. But so a whole different topic. At the end of the day, in the MSP space, what I see, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but they implement tools, right? I think what you're saying, Sean, is they implement tools, but then they bypass the SAT because that's fluff. That could be overlooked. And when an SMB's looking at costs, they're saying, oh, I don't need to train Sally to not click on this kind of thing, or I don't need this phishing campaign. Well, just throw this tool on there. Well, okay, now you have tools, but at the end of the day, the weakest link is Sean, or all of us, and you didn't train that person. So that's a totally different. I didn't even write an article on that, but totally different topic.
Why is Sean the one that's picked to be the weakest link?
Well, it's clear. Because look at this live stream.
Because you're wearing the bush shirt.
Really?
You're gonna make those, not necessarily, not with intention.
He did dress up today. Well, most live streams he's got no shirt on, so whatever.
That's not live stream. That's OnlyFans.
Oh, how do I get in that chat?
You can't afford it.
I don't want it in there. I'm like,
we already had that conversation. You can't afford it. Remember, you were like,
that's what Wednesday.
You were like trying to give me you were like, can I give?
That's what we invite Larry.
That's that link you keep sending me on Wednesdays.
No, that's Larry's link. That's for his own.
That's what we invite Larry.
Larry's not even here to defend himself.
Even when he's here, he still can't defend himself. It doesn't matter.
Good call. Yeah. So where are we at? Zero trust. I'm not even hosting this show, and I got to bring us back to on track.
Yes, we're on Zero Trust.
Once again, who doesn't want to join this group and join us more often?
That's what I'm saying. My Lord. So back to Zero Trust. Is there anything else really to add to Zero Trust conversation? I think it's pretty self-explanatory, right?
Yeah, it's super self-explanatory on the MSP side.
Right.
Explanatory to the SMB side. And these tools is another whole topic that we run into. But if you're a business owner and you've built your business over 30 years and you're not using these tools, I feel for you.
So I feel like, so
maybe AI can teach them why they need it.
Well, I was going to say, there's all, I don't know that's going to be the case because who's putting that in there?
your AI architect that Juan just hired.
It came full circle.
Woo, okay. Because I was thinking, the fact of the matter is it seems like really the conversation is more about how does an MSP provide value add conversations to end users as to why they should do this and why it should happen.
Oh, absolutely. That's where that human interaction and that trust comes in. Why you're not fully.
It's you. You're on it, dude. Look at you.
I can come back next week. I can come back next week too if you want.
Yeah. I know we're good. I think this is enough for everybody ever.
Regular guest?
No. But let's actually, my predictive analytics says no.
Oh, using AI on me. I get it. I see
Just saying. But I do want to ask the quantum computing's future impact. What is that?
I told you.
There's an AI article written.
One article is not my AI. Did I not?
I thought it was that one.
So we are going to skip that topic because Trever does not. I don't even know what it says, to be honest with you.
I love it. That's awesome. I'm just gonna Google that.
Trever, just a curiosity, and just for myself, trying to stay up to date with everything, AI, zero trust, quantum computing. How do you manage that, or how do you empower your team to stay up to date with all those changes? Is it, do you personally, it's like, today is every morning with my cup of coffee, you read the tech news just to stay up to date? Is it just feeds into your email, just conversations? What's your, if you want one of those that, that stays up to date with all these, what is your secret to be always informed for yourself and for your clients and for your business?
So good question. And multifaceted. There's once again, we went off in 10 different directions on all kinds of different things. And there's, in the MSP space, there is so many things being thrown at you every single day that, you're on information overload, and you kind of, so I guess for me, and in the larger we become, that I lose a little bit more touch with that stuff. So, you try to empower, your engineers and ask them to be entrepreneurs on a certain subject. I think I just made that word up. But be entrepreneurs.
No, you didn't.
So they're not quite entrepreneurs, but bring solutions to me, because they're in the grind every day, and they're the ones seeing this. And then I think another value add is partnering with key vendors that bring you the information in front of you that you need to see. Otherwise, if you're trying to sort through it yourself, it's pretty tough trying to decide which ones. But I think you just pick categories. Cybersecurity is obviously a lot, a huge issue and things like that, and you just try to fight your way through it.
So, by the way, entrepreneur's been around for a while.
Has
However,
it?
Yes.
Fair enough.
But it is key to empower and talk to employees and have that entrepreneur mentality, right?
Well, of course. Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, everybody that works for you, if you guys are going the same direction down the river, you're rowing the same direction, they know their spot in this in the big picture of it.
Correct.
For them. There's two big pictures. There's the company big picture and there's their big picture, because everybody's thinking about their own. And that's where that extreme ownership takes place. They should own their own book of business, whatever that's going to be. If it's sales and that's your book of business, you run it like your own business. If it's support and you're the support manager, you run it like it's your own business.
Yes.
The delegation from ownership or leadership down should really be more of a support mechanism, not we're managing this, because that's why you hire. And even down to the Tech One support person, they're in the trenches, they're doing the work. They should be looking for ways to make their job easier, also be more impactful. But then again, though, that's back to what I said. Sometimes you got people working for you that you don't want to work for you because they know where the bodies are buried right now.
And they know that as well, right? But
yes,
exactly like you just said, extreme ownership, and challenging your employees to be an SME on something and bring that to value add. And somebody that brings a new solution to fruition to a partner, and you look at the end of the year and you've provided value, the customer sees the value, and it's getting implemented across the entire company. Well, that's a pretty valuable person when it comes to review time, right? And it's because you empowered that person. So going all the way back to what Juan said is, I think the larger you get, like obviously I'm starting to lose touch with some of these solutions out there. But you empower those people to be leaders and bring you solutions of what the latest greatest is.
Sure, that's fair.
In an MSP space too, I think we're in the fight, or we get to see a lot. Maybe I'm wrong, but we get to see a lot more solutions than versus an internal IT that's maybe managing one single network kind of thing. And we have different tools and solutions that maybe an internal solution doesn't have. And it goes back to partners. Who are your partners bringing you the right solutions as well? Yeah, they want to sell stuff, but show us how it works. And can we then take that to our partners for a value add? To provide value.
Yeah, we can have a whole other live stream on partnering with vendors.
Yeah.
That's true. By the way, quantum computing has the potential to significantly impact various industries by enabling the solution of complex problems that are currently intractable and for traditional computers, particularly in areas like drug discovery, materials science, financial modeling, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity, through its ability to perform massive parallel calculations using quantum properties like superposition and entanglement. This could lead to breakthroughs in areas like developing new drugs, designing advanced materials, optimizing complex systems, and enhancing data security. There you go.
Juan, I wrote an article on it, and he just read it to me, and I wrote an article on it.
No, yeah, I wrote the article. You can talk about it. You're welcome.
All right.
I mean, you said that publicly.
Is that the AI response when?
Yeah, but Simon can cut that out.
Google generated.
That's the AI overview. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Wait, you just gave me my own AI article response? That's what you just did to me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He copy and pasted, summarized this.
Well, Juan, I'm actually free. I can help you host this thing, I guess. If this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. I can actually help you host.
Oh God. Anyway,
I'll free up my calendar.
So we're down to the last 6 minutes. Thank God. No, it's gonna be so sad to get off this with you. Yes. What else?
Hey, everybody, join this. Everybody, join this group. Sean can berate you too. It'd be great.
That's the reason we joined this group.
The link is below. If you are a masochist, you join this link and you'll love the group. So we really didn't get into work-life balance at all, but so let's make this a quick conversation about that. We kind of did, in a way, give the ability to open to the conversation by talking about eliminating potentially 25% of somebody's workload, right? Which would help you with shorten your hours. So how do you even go about doing yours? Because I know you do stuff. You have a family. I know you do like child activities.
I got 4 kids and they're all in sports. So I travel around the country quite a bit for wrestling. We were just in Kansas last weekend. We're going to Iowa next weekend. So we travel all over for larger wrestling tournaments and things like that.
How do you do all that? Because some people have a hard time. Some people never leave work. We know those people. We probably were those people at one point as well. Yeah. So how do you make that?
I didn't say I love work. I mean, it comes with you. Anybody that runs an MSP knows that it comes with you.
Okay, but
it gives you the flexibility to be able to do those things.
What's that? Say that one. Sorry.
It gives you the flexibility to do all those things, and I mean, you just pull up your phone. So all those different tools give you the ability to take care of your your kids and all your sports adventures.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
still being part of the
hotel Wi-Fi and venue Wi-Fi is key. Wrestling, your child goes out there and wrestles for 2 minutes, and you sit for 2 more hours while you wait for the next wrestling match, kind of thing. So there's plenty of downtime in between matches, stuff like that. But I think not only me as an MSP, I think work-life balance is also super critical for my employees and engineers as well, because at the end of the day, we live in a stressful environment because very few people call us and say, you know what, everything's just running great. You guys are great, right? You get the call when shit's on fire and pitchforks are out, right? So we live in a stressful environment, and I think it's important to get your staff out of here as well in a timely manner and that kind of stuff. So that juggling that is tough as well. I'd rather see them get out of here than me.
Okay, so you are maintaining, you are focusing on family, because a lot of people don't.
100%.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think for my employees, and I mean that's number one is the family and those activities and things like that, because that's going to go by fast. It's going to go by fast, and they're going to be gone.
Did they golf with you on Thursdays during the summer?
Who golfs?
Don't you like golfing during the summer?
No, I put it on my calendar just to try to secure time.
Okay.
But it rarely happens.
Hold up.
It rarely happens.
That's not what you told us was the reason why you couldn't make the meetings at first. You said you had golf. That's what you told us. That was your exact reason. You were going to the golf course.
That's why I brought it up. It's like, yeah.
Work-life balance. Work-life balance. I'm in a golf league that I rarely make it to. So they, much like Sean wants me out of this group, the golf team wants me off the golf team too, because I don't ever make it. I secure the time, but I don't have AI freeing me up 25% of the time yet, so I never make it. AI.
I'm done.
Can't wait till next week.
I can't wait. Excited. Anyway, all right. We have like a minute left. Closing remarks here. Anything like that, Trevor?
Closing remarks?
Yeah.
I don't know. Join this group. It's fun.
Perfect. There you go.
Group, it's fun. Honestly, the more people we can get involved in this, I think 2 years ago, maybe Juan, I don't know, Juan, check my sign up date when I joined this group or whatever. But I did it strictly because there was power in numbers, and to be able to bounce ideas off of people as a small MSP, trying to fight through all the data coming at you and things like that. And then I had no idea, kind of some of the relationships, besides Juan or besides Sean, I like everybody in the group, and so I had no idea that I was, it was going to come with a bunch of friendships as well too. But honestly, in this group, I don't think there's a time that you don't ask something in the Slack or do something like that, and you get a bunch of answers, and people are willing to help you out, whether they're business owners or working in a company and things like that. They, there's a lot of good answers that float around, and I think that's their value add here.
That's fair. I like that, and I think it's been almost 3 years, because your first one was my first one, and that was 3 years ago.
Cute. That's cute. So we have an anniversary together.
Yeah.
We have a friend anniversary.
Because you were late.
For anniversary.
And
you blamed your counter half on that each time.
When's our next actual meetup?
We're determining that.
Yeah,
we're working on that.
Soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll be putting word out.
Soon.
Yes.
Let we know it.
Yes. So, Juan, anything else you'd like to add on here before we get off here?
No, just echoing, what Trevor said. Join the group, and you might be the next Trevor. You might be, the next person. No, nobody wants to do that. No, I mean, join the group, and just to share, and collaborate with everybody in here, and we will love to have a live stream with with any of our partners and talk whatever you're passionate about, or just or life in general.
Sean, I am glad to be your first though.
Thank you, Trevor. Yeah, of course. Yes.
Let's pause so we can edit that.
It's already live. So yes, thank you, Trevor, for coming on. You were just full of wisdom and inspiration. Juan, as always, thank you for weathering the storm, and you did great at not repeating everything that either one of us said. You're really doing well on that. All those watching, all the tens of people watching, we thank you for all 10 of you that watched maybe this year. Kidding, Trevor, your face, forget it. Anyway,
I thought I would have gone more than that.
Looking forward to seeing everybody coming up. Look for announcements. We have another live stream in just up in a few weeks here, where we'll be bringing in a vendor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep an eye out for a newsletter, Slack, and follow us on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Otherwise, that's all we have for now, guys. I'll see you all soon, and peace out, Girl Scout.
Thanks, Trevor.